Welcome to Be on the Stutter. We back at it again.
Back at it, man.
Back at it again. My name is VONDELL and this is Antoine. And so we diving back in our last episode. We talked about breaking the stigma, and basically, learning how to navigate through different type of circumstances we've been in, but also how we breaking the stigma of how the world views stuttering and how and how we can overcome it.
Yeah.
And so today, kind of the topic today is, when we talk about stuttering, a lot of things, when we have conversations with people, I think what happens is that when we start to have conversations,
Right.
The people that we end up talking to, they end up laughing.
Right.
They end up laughing or end up making smirks and jokes. And so today, we kind of want to talk about how does it kind of make us feel for those who stutter when other people laugh,
Yeah.
but also too, man, even for those that do laugh, man, how does that play a part in the person you're relationship with who does stutter?
Yeah. And also even to add on to that too, like the emotional side
For sure.
that kind of plays in is the type of unseen thing.
Yeah.
Like all that comes with the other person reaction
You're right.
towards another person
Yeah.
that is having a rougher time, speaking. So what type of emotions really come out
Yeah.
when someone laugh, like when someone laugh like or smirk, or just seem pretty much uninterested.
Yeah.
What that
Sure.
feel like.
Honestly, I think a real emotion I can feel a lot when somebody laughs when I'm speaking to them. I get anxious.
Right.
I start to get anxious about are they starting to understand what I'm saying? Or, I have thoughts of man, are they making fun of me that I'm speaking this way? Or even too, I can even get anxious about man, I don't even want to talk to you right now is when you start laughing. So I think I start to get anxious.
Yep.
And so I get, so when someone laughs at me when I'm speaking, I start to question my own ability and my own confidence in my speaking.
Right.
And even too, I start to get anxious, but even too, I start paying attention to different type of body languages.
Right.
So when they laugh at me, I'm like, man, I start to question, man, do they care about me?
Yeah.
So I think I start to look at, their feet, their arms, their body movements,
Their freaking earlobe.
earlobes, or just like you said, I try to look at any type of posture
Right.
that tries to convince of man, okay, they're still listening, or I try to say, man, are they really interested? So I start getting anxious. I look at the body movements and see if they're really interested. So I think I get very anxious, and I think I start losing my train of thought.
Yeah.
Maybe I know I've been in conversations where I've been speaking, publicly. And I would be sharing my heart, sharing my story, and they end up laughing. That takes me up course. I go dang, I'm just, man, I guess I don't have that voice. Or I get man, maybe I just shouldn't talk anymore.
Do that you second guess
For sure.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And look, I'm that other people too. They are so type of unaware of that.
Yeah.
Like, what does that do to the whole type of interaction?
For sure.
And they could be either type of uneducated of what that look like, or pretty much don't really care.
Yeah.
They lack that type of patience.
Yeah.
So
All right. No, I think even too, if I'm honest, when you laugh at someone who stutters,
Right.
who stutters, it's low-key disrespectful. It's
very
disrespectful, but also too, it's hurtful. And even if you don't even do it intentionally, it's always good to make that relationship right or say, hey, I'm sorry I ended up laughing at you. I want you to know that it wasn't out of intention. I do think some people do laugh, but I think people who do that, they also have a sense that sometimes they just don't know.
Right.
So I also respect the other side. Like, man, I do think when people do laugh, some people don't understand, but there also is some people out there that when they laugh, it's a laugh of intention of like, man, that is hurtful.
So
you know?
that you mentioned that type of anxiety.
Yeah.
That comes on.
Yeah.
Like, is it right at the time? Like where they smirk, laugh or something, and then like that you instantly be anxious?
Yeah.
Like, or that, like, or do it carry on
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
conversation that you have with either that same person,
Yeah.
or like another person?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it can be right in that moment too. But like being laughed at, it creates more anxiety for the other relationships that I may run into.
For sure.
I mean, so I end up like being projecting. I'm like, oh, this person. So if this person laughs at me, a person who starts can be like, dang, if I talk to anybody else, we can make assumptions that they're gonna laugh too.
Right.
So when you laugh, and like I said, right, like it goes both ways. Some people don't know, and some people do end up making fun of those who started that. Do end up laughing at them, making fun of them, and it's detrimental to the person because sometimes we can't control it, but it does create anxiety
For sure.
in the future. And when you go away, you start questioning yourself, and it gets trippy. And so, and honestly, I was gonna ask you, like when you've been laughed at or you've been made fun of, how does it make you feel? Or also too, how can you see the world? What happens to other people who get laughed at, man, for stuttering?
Okay. For one, like, man, look, but that's huge. Like, man, look, like I feel the same way about the type of anxiety of also me feeling like, oh snap, like is there something wrong? Like, how do I switch it?
Yeah.
My control is gone.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
is because of that. But look, I turn and used to turn and still turn to today. Look, I turn to anger. That's not helpful.
Right.
I would say is like it don't. And if it's me, like, or the conversation that I'm having, the is because, and then that there was a wall, like with that person, and also with other relationships, like look, it's a like that you really is like enslaved to just to other people, the anger, like if anyone ever been angry, like a show has,
For sure.
that you're not in the right state of mind. It isn't that you have some type of shield up. Isn't but past all the anger, like it's real deep down hurt.
Right.
But it is but that's way harder to say. We were like, hey, that was hurtful when you laughed or when that you smirked. Stuff like that. So yeah, and that's something that I still struggle with.
Right.
And but like I'm trying to like have these type of conversations to really type of overcome that.
Yeah. No, I do think that's also words. I don't. Sometimes when when I'm angry, it's sometimes like, it's also, and even too, to also on the person who does stutter, yes, like you said, it's always not right to deal with it with anger.
Right.
I do think sometimes, not sometimes, but I do think people who do stutter, we also got to understand too that sometimes they don't know.
Yeah.
They
They
don't know. We don't know why they're laughing, so we can't assume, But I think, but also I do want to speak for the world though, because I do feel like, man, when you do laugh at a person who stutters, you actually feel like you're in control, because when you laugh, it feels like you're in position and you're in higher power of our voices on Matt, and you're in higher power of our voice. So if we're in a relationship and you laugh, it kind of feels like you have more control than I do, because my speech is I'm more vulnerable and you react in a laughing way.
Like, it's type of unconsciously.
You're right.
Like, it's just, that's what is being, that is being taking place.
You're right.
Like, it's like, is the sky blue?
You're right.
Like, yeah. Like, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's big, and that is amazing point. Have you ever laughed at someone and thought back on it? It's like, that was like, look, I should have never laughed at that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's different line instances in my life where, I'm saying, where I've laughed at other people, at different things. In conversations, it could be someone that did something to me, or you cracking a joke at somebody else, and I laugh at them.
And that's you mentioned us really cracking is jokes. Like, as a kid, right? We clown around like kids. They clown around a lot.
Yeah.
The backlash that you got, like, as a kid, like, how is that still affecting you, and has it affects you?
Yeah, for sure.
As you know.
Yeah, I do think I have to step away sometimes. I really realize, I started realizing a lot more too. I was telling my fiance, I was like, hey, man, my stuttering's a little worse today. Man, I need you to be patient with me today because my words ain't coming out right.
Right.
So I think that, like, back when I was a kid, I think being laughed at, I could still have that presumption on other people a lot, and I think I still have. I'm not super aware of it now, but I do think that when I want to shut down, it's because in the past, how I've dealt with circumstances when I've been made fun of, or even when I'm mad at my own voice, I could want to blame, and I gotta take some responsibility for that. So I'm learning how to take, self-responsibility on that and not presumping it. But I do understand too is that, like, when you've been laughed at a lot as a kid, and you've been laughed at by, it could be by teachers, or I know we talked about last podcast, we talked about how when a teacher, causing us to read in class,
right,
and the classmates laugh on you, man, that leaves a deep stain in your heart.
It does, for sure.
And so it makes you just not want to shut down. But I think even for a person such as like me, I think I have to be willing to understand myself a lot more deeply to still want to push through in that, But I was even thinking too, like in that moment too, like when I'm getting made fun of, man, I feel deep embarrassed.
For sure.
And so honestly, we all face embarrassment. So I wonder, like, man, you've been laughed at. How does it make you feel?
It's to add on to what you say too. It's for sure in embarrassment. A big thing was like anger. It's not even the anger at the, like, not even angry at the other person, but anger towards me, myself.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a self hate things. You know, or like I don't like that I have a speech impediment. Like, man, that's not something that you're like, man, look, I wish I had a speech impediment today. That's no. No matter how much I talk about it, like that's still that type of inner anger. It kind of get easier when that you talk about the type of embarrassments. It hurts. The anxieties, the sadness, and everything like that. But you asked me too. The shame and embarrassing.
I remember you.
I thought that made me feel personally, like I am not in control. Like it's just something that like I can't hide. It's some days are worse than others. For sure. 100%. But it's a lovely like the embarrassing of, man, look, I am 20-something years old, and I still have not became it.
That's real.
It's stuff that is something that is that look. It takes a lot practice, and yet even still, then that you're not 100%. There's all confidence. Like, let me speak to the world, but really expressing that stuff and not saying, you know what, look, I'm about to let this not holding me in this circle.
I think that's big, because like I think another emotion out here is that, like, disappointment. Because disappointment is when you got faith for something.
Yeah, talk about that. You know
what I'm saying? Where sometimes, sometimes when you come to speak to someone, and not saying it's all about people, for like, man, it takes faith to really to want to keep speaking every day, every moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could be talking right now.
Yeah.
You could laugh. I'd be like, all right, I don't want to talk to you ever again. I don't want to talk to you right now. You know what I'm saying? Real. But I think disappointment.
I thought about that.
But disappointment is a real thing, because when you disappointment, you can also go. That also leads to the embarrassment of, like, man, I'm disappointed that I wanted to say these words, but then I got laughed at.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, man. So it kind of feels like, man, I had the faith, I had the strength to want to speak, and I did it, but I got laughed at.
Yeah.
So it's like a double whammy. A double whammy.
Don't nobody want the double. Don't nobody want the double whammies.
No whammies.
But
it's real though.
But what encourages you to step back up, like, and go and speak again?
Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And I think I had to just deal with it. I'm saying deal with it. Like you said earlier, I think you said you have to talk about when you feel embarrassed, when you feel disappointment. Because when we feel these emotions, our instinct is to go, I'll never talk again, or I'll never talk to that person again, or I'm never going to talk at an environment again. And so I think that's good. And I think a lot of times, when we want to close, like, we want to shut ourselves down, I think it's really key for us to, like, and able to combat with people who do laugh. We gotta be willing to combat it with them.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying you have to fight them, point them. You have to fight back with honesty. Of, like, even though you laugh, hey, I even feel insecure that you laugh. that goes a long way because that frees you up.
That's hard to do though.
It is hard to do.
Like in time you can't
100%.
like it's, but I don't think we think about that at that time.
Yeah.
Like, let's say we is ordering at McDonald's.
Double.
I don't eat McDonald's.
In a McChicken.
Not the McFlurry too.
Oreo.
With the ice cream machine, man. Look, that's always down. Always.
And don't throw shade. McDonald's.
So McDonald's.
Ronald McDonald. What's his name? Ronald.
Ronald.
What's that, Ronald? How you doing? Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I mean, even too, like, what would you say? What advice would you give to a person who stutters, who's been laughed at, or even who's in a position where they get laughed at a lot?
Yeah, for sure.
What advice would you give to them?
For sure. The advice that I would give is a little like, don't turn to anger or self-hate. I would advise you that whoever to just, you can't keep pushing. Like that, like the laugh is, but also have more compassion.
Right.
Like you can laugh at me and like, I mean, thinking like, man, what is that person going through? Is that thought that my speech is funny to you, like wasn't really going on like in that person's life, heart, like probably had a bad day. And shoot, also like really talk to others about all the emotions that came with that. So how about yourself?
I mean personally, bro, I would say, like, some of my speech there is self-compassion.
As well.
I think self-compassion is when you forgive yourself when you make mistakes. Because I think stuttering, you're always gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
You're gonna tear yourself down different times.
Yeah.
But self-compassion allows you to make mistakes so you can try again.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I do feel like, those who do stutter, like, we're gonna be judged. We're gonna be laughed at. We're gonna be made fun of. We're always gonna be we're gonna be looked down on sometimes. And I think that ain't very. And I think it's also important that, you as a person, you gotta have that self-compassion. You go, that even though that I've been laughed at, like my speech doesn't define me, even if they do laugh at you. I think self-compassion is one to go, hey, it's okay that I got laughed at.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I know that there's somebody else out there that appreciates my voice.
Yeah.
And I also have a support system who loves me for who I am.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that you have self-compassion. That yes, self-compassion on yourself that allows you to make mistakes. How do you gain some healing with dealing with that pain from being laughed at?
As well. How do I gain healing?
Yeah.
I feel like pretty much trying to reach out and help others.
Yeah.
And I know, man, of these certain struggles.
Yeah.
Like trying to educate.
Right.
More. Taking all that.
Yeah.
And then late putting my type of energy type elsewhere.
Yeah.
And also seeing the type of improvements, that look, I was here, now I'm here.
Yeah.
And look, I'm about to keep on going.
Right.
Like I'm beyond the stutter.
Yeah, like that.
I'm going past that.
Right.
So really think about the future.
Right. That's real.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, folks, I consider before other podcasts, like, folks, like, focusing on who you can become, so that's very important.
Yeah.
And so, like, lastly, how would you, how would you be able to, like, even explain, but I didn't talk about, like, those who have been laughed at, those who've been starting, like, and what kind of advice would you give to them?
And that is a great question. I would like I would say it, like, embrace it.
You got,
Like look, embrace that, like embrace that struggle.
yeah,
Because I guarantee, man, look, if that you keep on pushing, you will come out on top.
yeah,
Like no matter how hard,
yeah,
but just be not quit.
yeah,
Like, don't quit on yourself.
you got,
Like, at the end of the day, like, if look, if you quit, the race is over.
yeah, yeah,
And that goes toward anyone that is in the struggle in life. Like it's like mental health, man, is a big, look, is a big thing. But you can keep on improving. And to support.
yeah,
To the up. If
you got it.
having a support type system is beyond important.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta surround yourself with those who believe in you. You, like you said, you in this opinion. You really gotta be around those who believe in you, and those who do. I mean, and those that do love you. And like lastly, before we end up, lastly before we close on this, I kind of want to give advice into the world of, like, if you are someone who's laughed at someone who stutters, I would advise you to go and apologize.
Yeah.
Apologize and make things right.
Yep.
And even, I'm saying, and even if you didn't laugh on purpose or laugh at them, it would just even be cool for you to even say, hey, I'm sorry that I laughed, but I appreciate you for speaking.
Like, to, like, even ask them.
Yeah.
About, man, how you feel?
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, I ain't mean that.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me what's happening?
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying, and I'm a person who started, obviously I first started, but like, even too, like, I would appreciate, I appreciate the world as if, like, if you have made a mistake like that, like, it's important that you make that right, because we need love too. So we need encouragement, we need support, we need inspiration, and we also need the courage to keep coming, to keep going when that happens. And so, and even too, like, those who are SOPs out there, like, it's important that even for you in your therapy sessions to ask questions like, when was a time that you've been laughed at or made fun of?
Right.
Because those instances those times that when that's happened, that has caused us that plays a part in us not wanting us to speak our voice. And so I think it's good, it's helpful for when others ask us questions about how we feel, painful insights or painful stories or painful environments that's caused us to not want to use our voices. So I think it's important, on both sides of the end to make things right.
Lastly,
Yeah.
It's not like having like people asking me that and was saying, oh look, I don't want to again you, but says. I'm like, no, that's not the ending me at all. That is talking about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So yeah. I would like that point, man. And yeah, it's going to be a amazing life, amazing,
So
look, amazing story to actually tell.
yeah.
Once we have everyone pretty much on game.
Yeah.
So
For sure. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is Beyond the Stutter. We'll see y'all the next time.